Hey guys, thanks for listening into the Real Estate Center audio experience. My name is Jas Takhar, and we wanted to do a prelude of what's going to be happening on this audio experience because, we've been getting a lot of questions on, why are you guys thinking of doing it? What are you guys going to be talking about? So we thought it would be a good idea just to give you a quick couple of minutes on why we decided to do the podcast. And kind of tell you a little bit about what to expect as well. I started out in real estate a little over 13 years ago, and one of the main reasons I was inspired to get into the business was, my dad and mom came to Canada in at around 1973, bought their first home around 1982, and at that time, between both my mother and father, combined income of approximately 65 to 70,000, taxi driver and factory worker. When they bought that home, my mom realized really, really quickly that it had a kitchen in the basement and a couple of bedrooms and a bathroom. And it also had a separate entrance, and she found that it would be quite easy to rent out that basement. It's exactly what she did, rented it out for a little over $550 a month. And at that time, parents of three boys who essentially loved sports, she was able to get that $550 and help with some of the grocery bills. She did it again about 8-9 years later in a similar property with a basement apartment, but this time she rented it out for $800 a month. And just looking at them, it definitely inspired me to once I understood essentially that, you can get income from real estate. And, for all that they did and all the love that, not only myself and my two older brothers are very grateful for, what if they could have done it just one more time? If they had a little bit more education and didn't listen to all the naysayers and what I call the anacondas in people's lives who scared them to not do another property like an income property or some other type of investment other than what the bank sold them. And again, they had no education. They went into the bank, kept all their money in savings, maybe put a little bit in GICs. We all know what type of returns you get there. And I always said, man, only if they could have done one more property. At that time, maybe bought it at, $285,000, $300,000, and now it would have been worth, maybe close to $1 million. And how many times would they could have maybe refinanced it or just had it paid off and had the rental income. So that's what really kind of inspired me growing up, and one of the reasons, I got into real estate. And our goal with this podcast is essentially to bring you our years of experience and all the experts on our team, and to educate and hopefully, more importantly, inspire you to think about investing. But along the way, we're also going to make sure that we speak about the buying process, the selling process, but really focusing a lot of our attention on investing. Because like I said, there's a lot of people out there that have 10, 15, 20, hundreds of properties, but what if you could just buy one? Would that change your life? And so that's kind of the reason why we're starting this podcast, what you can expect. We're hoping to do this on a weekly basis with updates on what's happening in the market, both locally here in the Greater Toronto Area and Southern Ontario real estate market, but also nationally as well, because we know what happens, in Vancouver, for example, like the new land transfer tax that came out a year ago, that essentially also came here locally. So we know what happens nationally. There is obviously a trickle-down effect that happens. With our years of experiences and the fact that we have had a radio show on AM 640 and News Talk 1010, we've been lucky and blessed enough to meet some really, really cool people. So we're going to bring you interviews with industry experts such as economists, developers, and other professionals. In the last 13 years of doing this, we've been very lucky to be part of approximately a little over 6,500 real estate transactions. And so we always say to people, we'd be idiots if we wouldn't have learned something and hit our heads against the walls a couple of times. So we want to try to make the path a little bit more clear for you. And we want to share all of our learning experiences and stories. And we're going to try to call on some of our past clients as well as our current investors. Hopefully they answer, and get you some of their stories on their path of what, how they thought about thinking of real estate and went from their first property. And some just have that one property and they're doing quite well. And we want to tell you all the things to kind of consider when looking at buying, selling, or investing, and some of the benefits as well. So within this time, again, like I mentioned, we made some really cool friends. We're going to make sure we call on them. But now, what we want from you, for giving you immense value, we hope, is we're looking to get your feedback. So any 2 cents in terms of questions you might have, because we learned a long time ago, the easiest way to get it done is really just reverse engineer what you're looking for. So what do we mean by that? Is if you think that there's a hot topic that needs to be spoken about, or there's a certain industry expert you think we should call on, or if you just have some basic questions, or you think it's a basic question, bother us. Get in touch with us, email us or call us, and we're not taking the path of selling anything here, because we'd be silly to think that by doing a podcast we could sell stuff. We're really here to lead with education. That is our mantra here, to lead with education, and we know that by doing so, again, we'll make even more friends, and that's kind of the main reason we're doing this. So if it's specific stats, a specific area, or experts you want, we'll definitely, look towards providing that. Again, I can't stress it enough. We really, really need your feedback, because then that will kind of direct us in the path of where this audio experience can go. So I really want to thank you for listening and taking the time to hear out the Prelude. If you look below, you can click on a couple of other episodes that we've already have done, because we wanted to make sure that when we launch the Real Estate Center audio experience, we have value for you there already. So the next few episodes will cover what's happening in the market, as well as the team of experts that you want to build when essentially called your real estate all-star team, if and when you're looking into doing this, the people that you want to get in touch with, not specifically like a specific mortgage broker per se, but just the team that you want to start to put together. And then one of the most frequently asked questions we get is, guys, where should we look at investing? What type of properties? So we thought that would be the best episode to have after talking to the team of experts. So you kind of know what's happening in the market. We then go into the team of experts you want to build, and then what type of properties can we possibly be looking at? And then after that, we have planned out like a panel, a round table, so to speak, the Real Estate Center round table, where we're going to bring out experts. And other than that, again, thank you for listening, and I hope to hear from you soon, and more importantly, meet you face to face. Take care.